Yeah, hey, what's up? It is tea time with your girl TG the LPC, and that is right, it is Wisdom Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about understanding your emotional triggers. I repeat, understanding your emotional triggers, right? It's easy for us to understand somebody else's or to point them out or to notice them, but we're going to talk about understanding yours. So, what are emotional triggers? So, emotional triggers are specific experiences, words, memories, situations, or behaviors that spark an intense emotional reaction. So it's often out of proportion to what is happening at the present moment. So it's above and beyond the typical response, right? They're usually tied to unresolved past experiences, maybe unmet needs, or core wounds. So, for example, somebody that who struggled with abandonment may feel intense anxiety, frustration, hurt, when a loved one doesn't text back quickly enough, when they don't return that text, they may just kind of spiral out of control. Or someone who was criticized a lot as a child may feel defensive when receiving constructive feedback. So maybe I'm trying to help you out and I'm giving constructive feedback. I'm not being nasty, I'm not being disrespectful, but you may take extreme offense to it because you assume that I'm criticizing you. The triggers are the mind and body's way of saying this feels familiar and unsafe, right? So an emotional trigger, this feels familiar and this is unsafe. I don't like this. Why do they happen? They often happen, they activate the fight, flight, freeze response, right? So the body reacts as though it's in danger, even if there's no threat, even if there's not an actual threat. Our body begins to go into that fight or flight or freeze moment. They're connected to past traumas, hurtful experiences, core beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'll be abandoned. They don't love me. Unmet needs for love, safety, respect, or validation. So as you noticed yesterday and today, a lot of the things that we're talking about are as a result of things that have happened in the past. That's why it's so important for us to kind of do that work and go back and work on those past things that may have affected us, right? So how do we understand that? We want to notice patterns. We want to ask ourselves, what situations, people, or words consistently bring up strong emotions in me? Right? Pay attention to recurring things, rejection, control, disrespect. We want to name the emotion. Instead of saying I'm upset, try I feel hurt, anxious, angry. So I'm always in my sessions, I challenge people to go deeper, right? Get this off the screen. I challenge people to go deeper. I want to know what the emotion is. We don't use the core emotions. I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm mad. No, we're gonna go deeper. Tell me a little bit more. What's underneath that emotion? So if you're telling me that you're angry, anger is a secondary emotion. So I want you to go a little bit deeper and tell me I'm frustrated, I'm fearful, I am feeling anxious, or whatever the case may be, so that we can explore a little bit better, right? Okay. When we name it, it helps separate the feeling from our identity. So, when I say I am angry, or I am anxious, my girl Kia talked on Saturday, and she talked about us owning our anxiety and depression and things of that nature. I am depressed. I have anxiety. My anxiety of things of that nature. But when we say I feel, when we use I feel statement, it separates the feeling from who we actually are. Trace the root, right? Reflect. Does this feeling remind me of something in the past, something familiar, something that I was uncomfortable with? We can journal it down. We can write about it. That will help us to connect those dots. And then we can pause before reacting. So I believe in taking deep breaths, right? So we got to take a deep breath. We might have to step back, sit back, hold our head up, kind of like, people might not understand that, but allow ourselves time to feel that emotion and understand what that emotion is and see if we can correlate it to something else, right? And then identify the need. Behind every trigger is a need. I need safety, I need respect, I need acceptance, right? For example, feeling jealous may point to a need of reassurance and security. And then we can practice compassion. So instead of shaming ourselves, recognize that this reaction makes sense given what I've been through. So, for example, my two of my children, my middle two children, um, do this thing where it's kind of like this uncomfortable laugh. they do, and sometimes they do it if they're getting in trouble. Sometimes they do it if I say something that they don't like or whatever. However, that laugh triggers me so much because that was a laugh that I received in my first marriage, and it was a laugh. It was a laughter of like condemnation and what I felt and perceived as disrespect. And so when they realized that when they do it, it started to trigger me. So I had to first process in me what was going on. And then I talked to them. I obviously, I am a big believer. You don't talk about anybody's parents who, I don't talk about my children's parents to them, if that makes any sense. But I did go to them and I said, "Wow, when you do that, that's triggering to me. And I'm asking you to not do it. It's okay if we talk. I'm not saying that you can't laugh. I can't even describe it, y'all. It is a particular laugh, like, like your stupid laugh. Y'all, it just sets me like the little anger guy in Inside Out, it just sets me aflame. And so I had to say, like, y'all, that's triggers for me. And I'm not angry with y'all. And I don't want to go off with y'all, but I need you guys to also work with me. Obviously, my children are older; they're not little bitty children, but I need you guys to work with me and understand. So if I walk away or if I pause, it's because I am trying to regulate my own emotions because I don't want to associate you all with that laugh, right? And so I had to realize it, I had to process it, and we do much better. They still sometimes do the laugh, right? But I'm able to regulate me because at the end of the day, you cannot regulate anybody else. You can't make anybody else stop something. You can't make somebody text you back right away. You can't make somebody show up when you want them to show up. All we can do is do our best to regulate ourselves. So I have a few simple reflection prompts for you, right, to see if you have any emotional triggers, and if so, how you can understand them and how you can overcome them. So, first, you're going to ask, what triggered me? Okay, I'm going to give you guys time to write it down. I should have put it in the prompt. What triggered me? Write that down, right? Next, you're going to say, what emotion did I feel? What emotion did I feel? Okay. Um, Then you're going to say, next one is, you say, what emotion did I feel? Where have I felt this before? Where have I felt this before? And then the last one is, what do I really need in this moment? What do I really need in this moment? So we're going to go through these prompts one more time because I want you guys to be able to get them and write them down, right? So the first one, what triggered me? What is it that triggered me? Next one, what emotion did I feel? Did I feel anxious? Did I feel unsafe? Did I feel, terrified? Did I feel, frustrated? Did I feel feelings of insecurity? What emotion did I feel? Where have I felt this before? Did I feel this in my marriage? Did I feel this with my parents? Did I feel this in an unsafe relationship, friendship, intimate partner relationship? Where have I felt this before? And then finally, what do I need at this moment? What do I need at this moment? Think that as we navigate those, then we can understand our emotional triggers. We can work on overcoming our emotional triggers so that we can be healthy, happy, and whole, right? The whole series this month is designed to help us to become healthy, happy, and whole. We are on day 20. So we have a few more days left. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I thank you guys for rocking with me. Place your comments in the place your thoughts in the comments. What is some ways that you understand and or deal with your emotional triggers? We would love to hear from you. PG out. I hope you have an amazing, amazing Wednesday.